community. It's Miss Grab here. I'm with my nieces. I'm still in Pasadena. So I'm here to read our home and storytime stories. And we have 3 dogs in our house. You've met Callie before, but my sister Wendy has 2 dogs, Oliver and Lucy. So they're here too, and that's who we hear in the background. Olivia, my niece Olivia is here with me, and my niece Eleanor. And we're going to read this great Hanukkah story.
And my baby.
Yeah, what's your doll's name?
My baby's name is Yorka.
Yorka? Okay. Hey, Ellie, come here, sweetheart. We can't both fit there. Come here, Ellie. Come here. Come sit with your auntie. Here. Come here, sweetie. Here. This is called Moshies Miracle, and it's a Hanukkah story. All right? We're going to read this story together. Hold on just a sec. Great. All right, so we're going to read Moshies Miracle. Moshies Miracle. Let's figure out the best way to read this.
Yeah.
All right. Here, Ellie, have a seat, girl. Sit down.
Ellie, we can't see.
It's okay. Here, Ellie. Here, sit down.
Ellie!
Sit down right here. It's okay. It's okay. All right, here we go.
Okay.
Starlight, starbright, magic on a winter's night, white snow, candle glow, far away and long ago. In the poor yellow village of Wishniak lived a milkman named Moshi and his wife Bela. Since he owned only 2 cows, Moshi earned a meager living. Still, he was known as a generous man, always ready to help his neighbors. Bela scrubbed and cooked and tried to scrape together a few kopecks for a nice Sabbath meal. But oi, how she could scold. Everyone said she had the sharpest tongue in Wishniak and little patience for Moshi's generous ways. It was early winter, and already the wind prowled the icy lanes of the village like a starving jackal. Many were feeling the pangs of hunger. Malka the widow and her ailing son Shmuel Heshi Fenster, out of work with his wife expecting their 13th child, frail Bubby Rivka, housebound with her calico cat. Moshi left an extra quart of milk here, a pint of thick cream there. Sounds like a very generous person. On the night before the holiday of Hanukkah was to begin, Bela untied her knipple, the knot in her handkerchief in which she kept the money, and shook the handkerchief in Moshi's face. Empty! All because of your foolish generosity. How will I buy the eggs and flour to make our Hanukkah latkes? Much less the oil to fry them in. Moshi imagined coins falling from the handkerchief into Bela's pan, where they turned into golden potato pancakes. He could almost smell those latkes frying. Oh well, he thought with a sigh, we ought to be thankful for what we have. But Lele, don't fret, he soothed. There are enough onions and potatoes for a nice pot of soup. But Bela would not listen. How did I end up with this schlemiel when I could have married the baker's son? On and on she scolded, hands on her hips, and eyes rolled heavenward until Moshi fled to the cowshed for some peace. He flopped down in the straw. How sleepy he felt. Mwish! Mwish! The milkman sat up suddenly, rubbing his eyes. He looked around to see who was calling him. Imagine his astonishment when he found that it was one of his cows. You have always cared well for us, Moish. You keep our shed clean, milk us on time, and feed us plenty. Most assuredly, chimed in the other cows. So although we seldom reveal to humans our powers to speak, we want to help you, dear Moish. While you were sleeping here tonight, the first cow went on, a stranger came to the shed. For hours he entertained us with tales of magic and adventure. You snored loudly all the while, but before leaving, he hid a gift for you, there, under the straw. She pointed with her velvety black nose. For me? Moish reached down and felt something cold and hard. He pulled out a battered frying pan encrusted with grease. An old pan? He tried not to show his disappointment. But such a pan! Exclaimed the second cow. According to the stranger, you have only to set it upon the fire totally empty, and it will produce as many delicious Hanukkah latkes as you wish. Latkes by the dozens, latkes by the hundreds will appear until you remove the pan from the stove. Just remember the stranger's warning. To Moish this gift was given, and only Moish must use it. Have a seat, Sweet Pea. Here, sit down, listen. Moish was overjoyed. He showered thanks on the cows and milked them, for it was early morning. Then he returned to the house and hid the frying pan on top of the wardrobe, intending to surprise his wife with it later on. Come here, Ellie. Come have a seat, sweetheart. That evening, Moish and Bela lit the first Hanukkah candle with the Shimons. Come here, sweetheart. You can't push the button yet. The candle used to light the others. They would add a candle to the menorah on each of the 8 nights of Hanukkah. With the menorah glowing in the window, Moish took down the magic frying pan and told Bela all that had happened in the cowshed, being careful to repeat the stranger's warning. Of course, Bela never had anything so mashugada in all her life. She scoffed. A pan is a pan. Nevertheless, Moish placed the pan over the fire. A lively sizzle filled the air. Soon, the rich aroma of potatoes and onions frying made Moish's mouth twitch and Bela's mouth water. And then there were latkes, plump as little pillows with edges like golden lace. The latkes were so light they floated right into the air as they finished cooking. Bela and Moish leaped about the kitchen, catching them. When each had a plateful, Moish removed the pan from the fire. Then he and Bela ate their fill and went to bed. Oh! How Moish tossed and turned that night, twisting the coverlet into knots. Perhaps he had eaten too many latkes. In his dream, he saw Shmuel and Bubby Rivka, the calico cat and the fenster brood. They marched around his bed, holding empty plates and staring at him with hungry eyes. The next morning, Moish left a note on every doorstep. Happy Hanukkah! Please come for latkes tonight at Moish the milkman's. It seemed that all of Wishniak squeezed into Moish and Bela's little house that night. Latkes galore sailed from the magic pan. There was singing and dancing to Hesse's accordion, and the children spun dreidels, little Hanukkah tops. Only Bela stood apart, shaking her head. Moish was giving things away as usual and making a mess of her house. If she could just get rid of him for a while, she would take matters into her own hands. The next day, Bela hid the Hanukkah candle under the bed. Moish, there are 6 more days of Hanukkah left, and all our candles are gone, she wailed. Then she sent him off to borrow some from her sister in the next village. She knew it would take him hours to walk there and back. As soon as the door banged shut, Bela made a sign and hung it in the window. Bela's Cafe, luscious latkes, 1 kopeck each. She took down the magic frying pan. Of course, she remembered Moishe's words about the stranger's warning. Till Moish's gift was given, and only Moish must use it. But why shouldn't the magic work for her too? After all, she was his wife. Bela placed the pan over the fire. There was a sizzling sound. It grew louder and louder, and she waited for the perfume of frying latkes to reach her nose. But instead, a burning odor filled the kitchen. Bela pushed the pan away from the flame, but the smell grew stronger, catching in her throat, and a plume of smoke uncoiled like a gray serpent. Dipping up some water, Bela flung it into the pan. Hiss! The water splattered everywhere. And before she could blink, each droplet changed into a hairy little monster with pointy ears and a forked tail. The creatures danced around and around Bela, giggling and pelting her with burnt latkes, then climbing onto the chairs and the table. They shook empty handkerchiefs in her face. Bela spun this way and that until she was dizzy, but she could not escape them. Just as she swooned to the floor, the door opened. Can we make it so everyone can see? The door opened. In blew Moish on a cold draft. It was followed by Wishniak's own rabbi and his wife, the Rebbetzin, whom Moish had chanced to meet on his way out of town. It was the Rebbetzin who sold the candles to the villagers, and she had kindly given Moish enough candles to last for the rest of the holiday. Moish, in turn, had invited the couple home for latkes. The little monsters took one look at the rabbi, shrieked in terror, and jumped back into the pan and vanished instantly in a belch of smoke. Bela was brought back to her senses by a whiff of the Rebbetzim's smelling salts. For the first time in her life, she had nothing to say. The little monsters had scared her speechless. Forever grateful to Moish for saving her, Bela took time from her housework to help him with the milking. She fed the cows and cleaned the shed. With his newfound love of cooking and entertaining, Moish prepared meals and cared for the house. By the end of Hanukkah, Bela found that she could speak again in a voice so kind that even the cows conversed with her. From then on, Moish and Bela were seen delivering the milk together. As for the magic frying pan, even back in Moish's hands, it refused to make another pancake. So instead of sitting on top of the wardrobe, it was sealed in a display case in the rabbi's courtyard. But the fame of its latkes and the tale of its little monster spread, and soon folks were traveling from far and wide to see it. Everyone hoped to see the little monsters under the glass making a surprise appearance, and sometimes they did. The visitors to Wishniak needed food and lodging, heels for their boots and hay for their horses. Soon the village grew into a bustling market town where no one went hungry, and for years to come, even on the coolest Hanukkah night, candles burned brightly in the windows, and the smell of frying latkes rose over the houses in a golden haze that seemed to reach the stars. Snow on the rooftops, milk in the pail. That is the end of this Hanukkah tale. Yay! What a fun story. Have you guys ever had a latke? Have you ever had a latke, Olivia?
Yes.
Are they delicious?
Yes, and they were bird nests.
They look like bird nests? Oh, so I think we should all try them sometime. I think they sound super delicious.
And Mommy made them out of different things.
Out of different things?
Like
vegetables?
And then she cooked them on the frying pan.
Thanks for having story time with us. We'll see you guys later.
Bye.
Bye. Miss Wachicki will be reading the story with you on Monday, January 6th. I'll still be doing the Spanish story. And I hope you guys enjoy your last week of vacation. And we'll see everybody back at school on Monday, January 6th. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Whoops.